Cooking with Amy during NDVS SB's Virtual Family Weekend 2021. Part 3, Eating Techniques.
Hi, I'm Amy Oswald, Vision Rehabilitation Specialist. In the previous two videos, we made mashed potatoes and we also made pork chops and gravy. Now we're going to talk about some eating techniques. So first thing is that you need to make sure that you have the right tools. So I'm using a paper plate, and the reason why is because this will show you that it is a nice deep plate. So things like my peas are not going to roll off. The other thing is that there is gravy on the mashed potatoes. What you will notice though is that it isn't running all over, and that's because my husband likes really thick gravy, like more like paste. And so if I were to make this for somebody who liked, waterier gravy, then I would have added a can of water to the gravy mixture. So we're going to talk about how to eat nicely. And so the first thing is I have my steak knife at 12 o'clock. Okay, blade in, and the handle's going towards the right side because I am right-handed. I have my fork on the left side, and that's typically where you will find your fork if you're in a fancier restaurant or at a dinner party. Think fork lift, like the machine, fork left. I do have a spoon here. Usually it would be on the right side, but I actually have it into my peas and corn mixture. So what I would do as somebody with really low vision is I would start and have my peas and corn at 12 o'clock. I have my meat at 3 o'clock, and then I have my potatoes at 9 o'clock. Now, what you're going to do is kind of be strategic on how you eat. I'm going to use a spoon for my peas and carrots because I have some shaking in my hands. And so if I use a fork, they just fall right off. So I use a spoon. The other thing is that I'm going to eat my peas and carrots first. And the reason why is because they roll. So if I were to eat my meat or my potatoes and I were to go around, and go a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit there, at the end I could have some loose peas and carrots on my plate and risk those rolling off my plate and onto the table. So I'm going to eat my peas first with my spoon. Another thing that you can do is you can ask for your peas or anything that rolls in a small bowl. So my peas are gone. They were at 12 o'clock. Then what I did was I rotated my plate so that my mashed potatoes are at 12 o'clock. And the reason why I do that is because it's best to have the food that you are eating at 12 o'clock so that when you pick it up, typically, just like when a plane crashes, it would crash most often in takeoff and landing. When I have it at 12 o'clock, if I lose it as I'm picking it up, it's going to land on my plate rather than if I had this at 6 o'clock, my potatoes at 6 o'clock, and I lifted up and lost control, what would happen is that would go onto the table or onto my clothing. Okay, so now we're getting to the best part, how to eat meat. This is often one of the most difficult things for people who are blind or low vision. It's often a source of anxiety, first of all, because of using the knife, and second of all, because they're not sure where they are cutting. So I will show you the easiest technique for cutting meat. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I think of my fork like a cane. I'm going to go around and I'm going to feel the shape of my pork chop.
Amy goes around the perimeter of the pork chop with the tines of her fork.
Meat doesn't come in a round circle typically, and so I know that this is wider at the right side and narrower at the left. Okay. Now by eating my peas and my potatoes first, I have made kind of a stickiness to the bottom of my plate, and that will help me with my meat. It won't slide around on my plate as much. The other thing is if you go and you eat your meat first, typically what happens is as you're cutting and your meat is sliding around on your plate, you're gonna push things like your peas, like your potatoes off your plate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the lower right corner. Okay, I'm going to turn my fork so that it is vertical, and then I'm going to switch it to horizontal. And the reason why I am doing that is because the vertical position of the fork is giving me about the distance that I want to go in from the edge, okay? Then I'm going to place my fork down into the meat. And what the technique is you don't go in between the tines, because then you will have a piece of meat that is only attached on one side of your fork. So what we're going to do is we are always going to go to the right of the fork, okay? And we're not gonna go in a sawing motion, okay? We're not trying to chop down a tree here. We're gonna finesse our knife. So we press it in and bring it towards us. And we're going to go to the back, press it in, and go from left to right, okay? And then we're gonna go on our left side. We're gonna press it in, and we're gonna go straight down, okay? And again, straight down. Okay, usually I do 2 cuts on each side. So 2 cuts on the right, 2 cuts on the back, 2 cuts on the left. Then I'm going to put my knife at 12 o'clock again, and I'm gonna lift up my fork. Now, if I feel that my fork is heavier than it should be, or that it's pulling something, then I'm going to place my fork back down, and I'm going to make those exact cuts again. So on the right side, on the back side, and on the left side. Okay, so now that I have made my first cut and had my first bite, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna feel around where I made that first cut. I'm gonna find an edge again. I'm gonna turn my fork vertically, then horizontally, press it in. I'm gonna take my knife from the right of my fork, on the back of the fork, and on the left of my fork. Again, we're not sawing, we're not chopping a tree, we're finessing our knife. Okay, now we're going to place our knife back at 12 o'clock and we're gonna lift up. And I have a perfect piece there. I hope you have enjoyed these videos. If you have any questions or have ideas for other videos that you would like to see, you can contact me at 701-857-7635. Again, 701-857-7635. Or you can email me at abrunner@nd.gov. That's abruner@nd.gov.